Welcome back everyone, Seafood Devon fan, Ada Mortals Wing Chun. Today we're going to be talking about how to put into use the Wing Chun fighting tactics that you learned in the last lesson. Today we're going to talk about how to attack using Wing Chun. So some of you may be thinking to yourself, I thought Kung Fu was a way of peace. Why are we talking about how to attack instead of how to defend? The reason is, I'm trying not to get you killed. If you have to defend yourself in a life and death situation, okay? If someone's attacking me, he's throwing punches, and all I'm trying to do is stop and stop and stop and stop. At some point, I'm gonna miss 100%. He's gonna knock me out, okay? I'm gonna be in real trouble, okay? Attack and defense. Defense, attack. In Wing Chun, it's the same thing, okay? We defend by attacking, okay? So, that's what we're gonna be working on today. However, I'm conscious of you as a student here, most likely, the reason you want to learn these techniques is because you're trying to learn how to defend yourself, how to defend your family in an emergency situation, okay? That's very different than learning fighting techniques for competition, for the ring, for that kind of thing. So here, I'm going to focus on what I think is most useful for you, is to defend against someone in an emergency situation in a street scenario or bar, whatever. I say the street, it doesn't matter, okay? So before we do that, before we learn how to attack and defend at the same time, we have to understand who our opponent is, okay? In this case, we know who our opponent is. Our opponent is going to be this, what I call a street fighter, okay? So who is this street fighter we have to deal with, that we're going to have to deal with in this emergency scenario? Without knowing him, you already know a couple things about him, okay? First place, whoever our street fighter is here, in this case it's Napoleon, he must think that he can beat me up. He must be convinced will win, or he wouldn't be attacking me. How do I know he's attacking me? Because I'm a Kung Fu person, okay? I'm not going to be started, I won't be the first one to attack. I won't cause a problem. Therefore, I know he's caused a problem. If it's you, I know it's not you starting the fight, someone else starting the fight attacks you, okay? So we know that about him. Why is he so confident? Why does he think he can beat me up? That tells me something, okay? Tells me this person is an experienced fighter. So he may not be experienced in techniques, but he's an experienced, he must have been. My guess is this guy attacking me, okay? He's probably been in more actual real situation fights than me, because he's just causing this problem. It's not his first rodeo if he's coming out acting like this, attacking someone who's a stranger, who's not bothering him, okay? Not the first time, probably many times he's done this before. Many times, now here's something else to know, many times he's been successful, or he wouldn't be here doing it again, okay? So we learned a lot of information. So far, he's shaping up, even though he doesn't know Kung Fu, he's shaping up actually to be a very dangerous opponent, okay? With a lot of experience, and obviously he's decent at fighting. He wouldn't think he can just beat me up. So now maybe I have a real problem, maybe a concern for me. Maybe I'm going to get beat up by this guy, okay? However, that's not all the information we have. We have other information about him as well. And share with you today is critical information dealing with this kind of person, okay? The first thing I'll tell you about him, and again, I never want you just to believe what I'm telling you. You go do your own research after this. I encourage you to do so. You can look up on YouTube, look up on Google actual street fights. You're gonna see what I'm telling you is true, okay? This guy, despite whatever show he may have in the beginning, 90% of the time, he's gonna use exactly the same opening attack. Maybe you can already guess what it is, okay? Most people are right-handed. So he's always going to use his strongest weapon. These guys, it's without fail. Every time they may do something, they always start with that right hand lead. Always a headhunter. They're always going for the head. That's just the way they are. I don't know, you have to ask all these street fighters why they do this, but there's a reason, okay? So he's always going to shoot, and he almost always uses what I call a Superman punch. He comes up and around like this, okay? Almost always. Because for an untrained fighter, that's how they feel. It's the only way they can deliver power. Now, good news and bad news. Good news is this is somewhat predictable for us, okay? You can predict that this strike is gonna happen. What's the possible bad news? Bad news is this: when he throws this big punch here, okay, this Superman punch, if he connects with it, I'm gonna get knocked out. It's actually incredibly powerful. Powerful for a couple of reasons, okay? Powerful because he's what we call overcommitting. He's actually gonna be coming forward. He's throwing all of his weight into it, okay? Which is maybe not good from a fighting perspective. You want to talk about, we don't do that, okay? But if he connects with it, it's a terrible problem. And then the follow-up left is going to be exactly the same thing repeated on the left-hand side. He's throwing one giant, that's how they just do it, okay? You'll see. So now we know this about him, okay? We know he's going to attack this way. So then what's the solution to this problem, all right? That's what we talk about here. So when I talk about this field, how to attack in Wing Chun, we're talking about how to deal with this situation so you don't get knocked out, okay? Get into terrible problem. So now we know what he's going to do 90% of the time. Even if he does something different, I'm still using the same attack, okay? So I'm gonna ask you, you also are gonna use your right hand. And you say, why am I copying the Street Fighter? He uses right hand, I use my right hand. I'll show you why right now, okay? So he's gonna come, he's throwing the Superman punch, okay? I use my right hand too. My right hand does something different. You already learned the straight punch, how to deliver a straight punch, okay, in Wing Chun. That's our bread and butter. So just like for him, that's his bread and butter, this is our bread and butter. Good news about this punch, it's much faster. So you watch again. He has to go, when he throws his punch, he has to go all the way around. This punch has to describe a big shape. Even if he's doing it slightly less exaggerated, it still takes so much longer to get here, okay? That's why I'm trying to encourage you, when you're practicing, you keep practicing this straight, you practice that straight punch. This punch is so valuable, and this is specifically is valuable in this emergency scenario, okay? So we do it again. He's gonna throw the Superman punch, and I come forward, I rush, I'm gonna beat him to the punch, okay? It's an expression, beat him to the punch is where it comes from. The reason I'm using this hand here is because I need this hand, my left hand, to defend from this punch at the same time, okay? So my personal favorite here, when I'm defending with this one, you can use Tan Sao, but I don't normally use Tan Sao. I use a Jump Sao coming up in the front like this, okay? So what it looks like is this. He comes through the punch, and I hit this here, okay? I actually strike forward and I hit this arm here as I'm hitting. This makes it, first of all, it's gonna be more effective than trying to come here because this can collapse. I have a lot of forward aggression energy. Second of all, I'm doing nice to Napoleon, but if you snap this forward and boom, and I hit that as it's coming forward, actually it's gonna hit his arm very hard at the same time, okay? So that's, and then here, let's say, we'll always have to be realistic here. So he's throwing this punch. Oh, if I, for some reason, miss or don't connect properly, obviously he's gonna be following with another punch. Then I'm well positioned, okay? Then I can control this hand and come in as I rush forward. I get him to back up. And from watching the fighting tactics, we already know what you can do from when he's backing up, then I'm gonna rush forward and do that attack. Okay, use all my techniques rushing forward. So that's what we're trying to be from that scenario, okay? So this one, when you're practicing this at home, you just keep practicing. If you have a punching bag, then you can do it like that. This one, actually, you can practice in the air. So even if Napoleon wasn't here, I just imagine I have a pole in my room, or you can have your curtains or a wall, anything kind of to focus your attention on, okay? You practice that. You practice, you come in with your straight right, and then for you, when you're here at home, you can also follow up with the left. So you go 1, 2, okay? I'll do slow motion here for you to practice, okay? I'm coming in, I'm meeting this energy as he comes in. This hand comes out, jumps out, straight right. This straight right hand can turn into another jump sao. It can turn Tan Sao, does anything to get the second punch. Okay, we assume it's gonna come. So 1, boom, 2, I'm still moving forward. The only difference between me and him, when he throws his giant punch, wow, he's committing all his energy forward here, okay? You're a Wing Chun fighter. So when Wing Chun fighters, we throw our punch, you commit your energy forward with your stance here, but I'm not leaning, okay? I don't become him. I'm not gonna lean forward here because then it sets up for catastrophe. Okay, I'll lose my balance, all kinds of problems. When you commit, you maintain your stance, you maintain your structure, boom, boom. Use your stance to put behind the punch, not by lean. Stance behind the punch, step, movement behind the punch, not by lean, never leaning in, never giving that energy to them, okay? That should be enough for you to get the basics of how to attack, okay? Some people, I always am throwing the rising kick we already learned in Wing Chun secret kick in that video, okay? If you want to open with that kick as you're moving in, that's great as well, but just word of caution, okay? Because here's our street fighter again. When he's throwing this, if I'm gonna throw my kick, I have to make sure I have my hands up at the same time. So even if I'm not throwing the punch, I'm still gonna throw up both my hands because I have to assume he's throwing those punches there, okay? I'm gonna do the last little tidbit for you, all right? This one, here we are close. If we're fighting, he's throwing his punches here, he throws this one here. If he let's say he's a person who's throwing hooks instead, not as common at all, okay? But if he's throwing those hooks, watch my hand position. From here, my hand's coming up here, I'm covering up my head there. If need be, you can cover up both. Your chin down, you cover up both. If he's throwing multiple hooks, well, I'm overwhelmed, boom, boom, and I can go from here, okay? This is actually a really interesting attack. So from here, I'm not trying to drop my hands because I'm gonna get hook knockout. I can't even see properly here, okay? So from here, boom, I'm coming straight down, attacking the side of his neck there, okay? All this, I'll show you without hitting nice Napoleon here. All that energy comes down. If I hit this here, boom, I'm gonna collapse him. He's going that, it's terrible, okay? He'll drop there. But from there, I can go, or if you're not able to do that, from here, he's hooked punch, boom, you come straight down. Boom, hammer fist straight down. Then you can use elbows. All kinds of inside techniques. We haven't got to all those ones yet. It's useful here though, okay? Now, I promise last thing, all right? Here's another thing it's super important. We're gonna cover how to deal with it in future videos. I can't deal with it in this one here, but watch this. Now he throws his big punch. Okay, let's say I'm here and I catch and I'm attacking. Boom, boom, looks like he's getting beaten up. We're gonna assume this bad guy has bad friends with him. You see the circles forming when there's fights. You don't know how many people are spectators, how many are his friends. The minute he starts to look like he's in trouble, he's losing, you have to be hyper aware that someone's gonna come up, hit you with a bottle or whatever, okay? Because they see him losing, they don't wanna see him lose. They'll watch, they wanna see him be the bully and beat you up, okay? But suddenly when he's getting beaten up, that's when these bad people come and attack. You have to be super aware. We'll talk about multiple attackers. That's a whole other video, whole other story, okay? Last piece, I wanna be super cautious here for exactly the same reason. When I'm dealing with him here and we're fighting, okay? Fighting, I wanna make sure I don't let him take me down to the ground. If I get down to the ground, I'm gonna try to get on my feet as soon as possible. Actually, I like ground fighting. Why not fight ground fighting in this situation? Why? Because even if I'm winning and beating him on the ground, his friends can come up and I can't defend against other people on the ground. Okay, so they're gonna come up, kick me, stab me, whatever. So that's a terrible position to be in, okay? In a situation where there's other chaos situation, other people around. It's a terrible position, okay? Having said that, you have to know how to deal. So we're gonna have another one using Wing Chun on the ground. As a ground fighter, actually, it's very effective on the ground. That's a whole other story, okay? In the meantime, you practice that. You practice your 1, 2, and you practice moving, okay? Also can practice this, all right? When you come in, you do your 1, okay? Make sure you're not going like this. When I practice, if I'm practicing my own, he's throwing a punch, and I practice, and I'm posing here, okay? Don't pose, that's for the movies, okay? It's make this fun. They want to show the punch. You need to strike like a snake. This comes, boom, you do throw your energy, you step your energy, this comes back again. Right? Bah, it comes back, bah, this comes back. Bah, this comes back again. I'm not trying to leave this out there for him to grab me, okay? That's a lot of information. You practice your 1, 2, you practice moving back and forth, you practice those angle change we worked on last time, and try to attack from different angles. Move, change your angle, attack, move, change your angle, attack. Okay, you keep moving back, you be mobile. Use those fighting tactics. You put it together with this, those attacks, okay? Good point. Thank you for your help. Until next time, Seafood Evan fan, we have all kinds of exciting stuff coming up. We're gonna work on the ground stuff. We're gonna work on the multiple attackers. And then coming up soon, we have Wing Chun Advanced Movement. So I'm going to introduce you to a lot of different steps, ways of getting out of trouble, ways of moving, ways of attacking you didn't know before. Okay, till next time, stay strong, keep training.